welcome to another session of WeWork Labs Leadership Academy. Today's topic is neurohacking for entrepreneurs. We will look at ways to optimize our brain performance, and we will learn several hacks how to do so. For those of you who are new to us, WeWork Labs Leadership Academy is a 3-month personal growth bootcamp aimed at transforming you into more impactful leaders. This is an open event to all WeWork members. If you wish to join our WeWork Labs community and get access to more programming like this and all sorts of tools and discounts empowering you as a business owner and entrepreneur, you can learn more at wework.com/labs. It's free for all WeWork members. A quick note on logistics for today's session. As usual, you're more than welcome to ask any and all questions through Zoom's Q&A function. We will try to leave some time for Q&A at the end. When you use the chat, please make sure to chat to panelists and attendees to share your messages with everyone on the call. And now I'd love to introduce today's speaker, Portia Asley. Portia is the founder of OptimizedBrain.com, a digital training ground for entrepreneurial founders to achieve unprecedented heights by hacking their brain performance. As a 4-time founder with an exit, Portia has tackled the immense challenges of building and scaling businesses by keeping her cognitive skills optimized. Portia is the engineer of Brain Optimization Bootcamp, a program that has served entrepreneurial founders from around the world. As a licensed engineer specialized in brain performance optimization, her mission is to show you a better way to build and grow your business by taking a brain-first approach. In the past, she's been sought out by the entrepreneurship arms of academic institutions, such as the Cambridge University in the UK, Fortune 500 companies such as Microsoft, and many accelerators in Europe, North America, and Asia. Portia, we're so excited to have you with us today here at WeWork. You know how excited I have been to learn more about your brain hacks ever since you first told me about this last year. So take it away.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for having me here today. I'm going to be sharing my screen with the participants. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm going to start from the back. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Looking good.
Amazing. So, welcome to Neurohacking for Entrepreneurs. My name is Portia Asley, and founder of OptimizedBrain.com. Before I can get to what exactly is neurohacking, I like to start with sharing with you my story. So, just like you, I have big goals, big dreams. They were very, very ambitious goals. And during the time for me to achieve my big, ambitious goals, I realized that I could be delayed by distraction, stress, fatigue, low energy, anxiety, overwork, and burnout, and many other things. By feeling all of these distractions, I realized that it would actually delay achieving my goals by months, and it would result in extra costs, and not only that, but further emotional breakdowns. So something like stress and anxiety that I experienced, and if it wasn't addressed properly, then it would have actually manifested into physical pain. There'll be times where my wrist would be in so much pain I couldn't even type. So if you're like me too, who had big goals and big dreams and sometimes were overshadowed by these experiences, then you may have realized that, how can we actually address this? And that was a question I asked myself as an engineer. I asked myself, how can I systematically remove these feelings so that I can indeed achieve my goals? So the engineer in me began working, began really digging deep into finding a solution. And I realized that if I power my brain at the neural level, if I optimize my brain and optimize my cognitive abilities, I can achieve my goals. But not only just achieving my goals, but it could actually be achieving it a month ahead. I could be saving time, and I could actually be saving money. And meanwhile, that I achieve my goals at an accelerated rate, I could also feel amazing. I could feel a boost in energy and feel supercharged and feel happier for that. So I spent over 20 years in really diving deep into looking at all different ways that I could really optimize my brain at the neural level. And that has led me to discovering the field of neurohacking. Now, I know everyone here, there's over 80 participants in today's class, and they could come from various different level of understanding about neurohacking and neurooptimization. So I'm going to give you just a basic definition that it can relate to everybody, no matter what level you're at. So in the simplest form, we basically call neurohacking anything that you can do to boost your brain power at the neural level to achieve your goals, to achieve great heights. It's taking an engineered approach to looking at the brain, and you're looking at the brain of how can we upgrade this brain so we can run faster and we can think better, we can do great work, and we can really enjoy life at its best. So in the past 20 years, what I have been really looking at self-optimization, especially at the neural level, I wanted to create something that can benefit entrepreneurs. Being a four-time founder, I know the challenges of entrepreneurs face. We have big goals in our business and we want to also achieve those goals at an accelerate. But again, we all face overworked and exhausted and there's just so many things on our plate, and I wanted to create something that can benefit, and therefore I created the brain optimization bootcamp for entrepreneurial founders so I can really help them to achieve their goals at an accelerated rate by optimizing their brain power. And really that's looking at a 5 week globally accessible that anyone from anywhere can do. It's science-based training, but it provides a very simple, actionable tools with techniques that are results driven and through personalized feedback and having lots of fun, and they can see transformative results in their brain performance, which then translates into a faster rate of achieving their goals in business and of course a positive experience in life. So as you can see, there's a lot that goes in 5 weeks. And one of the big things we focus on these tools and techniques, we call them hacks. We call them brain hacks. And I wanted to define the word hacks because you are going to be hearing that a lot in our session today. What hack means is really looking at making small and incremental change to optimize your brain that over time becomes a major positive change. So that's what we mean by hacking your brain, by taking those small steps incrementally, and it over time becomes an amazingly positive change. And so, as you can see, there's a lot we can talk about neurohacking. I can spend hours on this topic and the exciting field of it, but I wanted to make sure in just these 40 minutes that I'm with you, you actually get lots of benefit out of it. So I have three benefits for you today. One of the benefits of hacking your neurons and empowering your brain is improved clarity. That's the first benefit, and we're actually going to do that. It's going to be the first step here. So make sure you have a pen and a paper or notebook handy because it is going to be an exercise you're going to be doing today to achieve further clarity, to get your brain to have this right target so you can drive the highest ROI. And we're going to look at a second benefit. Once we have this target set, we're going to look into how you can enhance your creativity, really hacking your brain at a neural level. You can enhance this creativity so that you can achieve your targets. And then the third benefit you're going to have of this powering your brain at the neural level is the increased concentration. So that means that now you know the target, and now you have the ideas to solve it. Obviously now you want to concentrate on solving this faster so that it leaves time for incredible things, for your passion, hobby, for your family. So these are the three things I want to take out. It's going to be definitely engaging, whether you have a pen and a paper, a notebook, or maybe you have just a Word document, Google Doc that you can take notes along, whatever that serves you best. We're going to dive in and it's going to be very powerful and transformative for you. And you can do this. You can do all of these things Even if you have lots going on in your life, you don't have enough time. In fact, all the entrepreneurs, my clients that come through the brain optimization, is they've got various different things going up. They're very limited in time and they want D hacks that drives degrowth. So, and a lot of them are actually parents. So if you're a parent, the CEO of your household, and you're so busy, you can do that too. You can definitely do that because a lot of our entrepreneurs happen to be actually parents with multiple kids at home and kids with various different needs. And of course, you're running in the crazy startup life responsible for finance and operations and product development. You can definitely do that too. And even if you don't have neuroscience background, even if you don't have that, you can definitely get a lot of benefit from this. You don't need to have, my goal is to make that so simplified for you to actually do this. And of course, if you're all stuck indoors because of COVID-19 too, you can definitely benefit from this as well. And even someone like you, maybe you have spent also been super curious about self-optimization at the neuro level, and you're here today maybe because it's not been serving you as well. And you want more things. You want something that is more actionable. So maybe there's gonna be something there for you. And even if you feel like you're somebody who has adversities to overcome, believe it or not, one of the entrepreneurs that are going through the brain optimization boot camp right now actually has cystic fibrosis. So even he is benefiting from this. So I'm so excited because it's very accessible, inclusive for everyone. So let's dive in with the first benefit of powering your brain at a new level. It's about crystal clarity, getting crystal clarity on your short term and long term targets. One of the big challenges I'm seeing that a lot of entrepreneurs are coming to me to optimize their brain, I'm seeing a brain performance decline because of cognitive overload. And what I mean by that means just doing too much, just too much. You're overloaded with so many things all at once. And that has resulted in a decline in your brain performance. So let me share with you a case. I'm going to share with you a case, and then we're going to dive in with an actual action. So I want to introduce to you Michael. Michael. He's a father of three kids, and one of his children has unique needs. So it's a very busy household for him. After being in the field of cybersecurity and as a professional for 20 years, he decided to jump into the startup world. And he came to me after he raised 1.25 million seed round from 15 angels. For Michael, busy household, got financing for his startups, now wanting to scale, he was stressed. He had the fear of constantly missing targets. He had a lot of stress from millions of inbound activities and so many distractions, and just not sure what was the most impactful thing he should be focusing on that could actually drive growth. So solution here, one of the main solution we focus on optimizing the brain at the neural level is about hacking the psychology of the mind to achieve crystal clarity. And without me explaining what the hacking the psychology of the mind is, I'm actually going to walk you through an exercise that enables you to alter your perception to change from seeing something from a big mountain to a molehill. So this is the part where you're actually going to be doing the exercise. So make sure you have something in hand because I'm going to actually work through this with me. First step, I'm going to define a problem. So I'm going to ask you, what is one problem you're faced with? One problem. Define one problem you're faced with. Just one sentence. When I always ask this one, people just tend to start with, I don't have X, I don't have Y. So you can start your sentence with I don't have. Examples are, I don't have enough cash to pay my staff after 3 months. Or I don't have a CFO to help me stay on top of my corporate finances. Or I don't know which market to expand to next. These are some examples. I'm just going to give you a few seconds here. One sentence to define one major problem that's on top of your mind that you're currently faced with. Okay, I'm going to go to step two. Step two, change the problem to a challenge. Change the problem to a challenge. look at that and ask yourself, what is one challenge you're faced with? Looking at this problem, right? Asking that, how can I turn this into a challenge? And then start your sentence with, the challenge I am faced with is, for example, I gave you the cash example was, the challenge I'm faced with is raising funds to cover my runway for so many months. The challenge I'm faced with is filling the role of a CFO for my company. The challenge I'm faced with is choosing the next country to expand to. So one sentence, take that problem and turn it into a challenge. Gonna give you a few seconds here. Okay, I am going to go to step 3. Turn the challenge to a question. So what is one question that by answering it, you get one step closer to solving the challenge? Okay, look at this one statement challenge you wrote and put a question down. One question that if you answer it, it gets you one step closer to solving the challenge. So the cash example I gave you, an example question is, what ways I can raise this many dollars to cover my runway for this many months? About the CFO candidate, it could be, where can I find my ideal CFO candidate? About expansion could be, which country can benefit my product or service? So turn your challenge into one question. I'm going to give you a few seconds here. All right, I'm moving to the step 4. Identify the first tiny step, the first tiny step. So what is one small step you can take today to get you closer to answering this question? One tiny step that you can take today. For example, about the financing, today I can send an email to my investor to discuss bridge financing. A tiny step, which is an email. Today, I can create a list of CFOs that are at my competitors so you can headhunt them. Or today, I can read a market analysis report for my industry. Just a tiny step that you can take. Just one step, not too many, and nothing too big, something you can do today. All right, I'm assuming that everyone has one tiny step down. So let's put this all together. Just this simple exercise of hacking your psychology is by altering the perception. We took the problem where you felt there was a lack. I don't have this, that negative feeling, I don't have a problem. We changed it into a challenge. We're looking at it as an opportunity. We put a verb there. From a lack, we said raising funds, filling a role, and an opportunity. Changing it then to a question where you can entice curiosity so your brain can start thinking about ways to solve this problem. And then one simple action, one step, going from this mountainous problem that we feel overwhelmed and we can't do anything about it to, oh, I can take a small step forward. It's in my power, it's in my hands. I can do this. So we went from I cannot to I can. That's what we did. We hacked our psychology to see this differently. And you as a business owner, you can do it every time. Every time when there's something that comes to you, a problem that you feel, just change that into a challenge. Ask a question that you can solve this challenge and get that first step. If you just every time look at the problem and turn into a challenge and ask yourself that one question that you can get you solve it, you are moving forward one step at a time instead of being still, instead of being feeling overwhelmed. And you can do that with your team members. If your team member comes up to you and puts a problem in front of you, work with them and turn it into a challenge, turn it into a question, and get them to find the first step they can do. Because they can take the first step, that means it's manageable, it's solvable, you empowering them, you empower yourself and you empower them. From I cannot to I can. And that's when productivity skyrockets, because then you're making meaningful, impactful actions, no matter how small, no matter how small. And that is a simple step of hacking your brain at a neural level by altering your perception to move forward, to start producing results. That's what we want. We want you to keep moving forward, producing results. Because when your job as an entrepreneur is to give your brain a clear target to solve. And when your brain solves one challenge at a time, then you end up making what was one thought impossible to possible. Just you gotta solve one challenge at a time. That's your job is as an entrepreneur. And you start making what was thought impossible to possible. Let's see what happened to Michael. So Michael went from feeling stressed and anxious to a confident, focused, and relaxed leader in just 5 weeks, so that he can now scale his team with 8 players and revenue into multiple 7 figures and beyond. By just hacking his perception, that load and stress decreased. And instead, confidence and focus took place. And here's an interesting story Michael shared with me. Instead of having anxiety attacks about his board meetings, he went in there with super clarity on what he needs to do, and he would bring that forward. And before, when the board were talking about small tactics that wasn't meaningful, ended up looking at a very big picture and then understanding what they need to do at different time sequences, which allowed them to be more focused and get things done and become an amazing leader for his team. So that was the first one. The first step we did was we are working together to give your brain a target, a clear target. You just did that. Now we want to do is we want to enhance your creativity, because now you have a target, you have problems that you're going to be solving, but you want to know how to solve those. You want to bring those ideas forward to solve these challenges so you can achieve your target. That's the second benefit of powering your brain at the neural level. So what I'm seeing a lot of entrepreneurs that come to the brain optimization bootcamp is that their brain performance are declining because of one thing we're seeing over and over again, from not enough recovery time. What that means is they're working way too long. They're working too long, too hard. And yes, as an entrepreneur, they're responsible for everything, product and marketing and finance and everything goes together. And their perception is, well, I'm going to work long hours to get things done so that I can increase my output. But I'm going to share with you something else you can do, which is about giving yourself the time to recover. And let me give you this analogy because I think this really helps people understand. So imagine you are working out in a gym every day, but you work out the same muscle every single day. And so what happens over time is that this muscle can be injured. So that's why it's highly recommended is that once you work this muscle, you got to give recovery time for this muscle to recover. And so you can avoid injuries. Everyone, your brain is the same. Your brain needs that recovery time. If you constantly tax your brain, well, that's where you start having that burnout. So I'm going to share with you a case study. This is Michelle. She's a Harvard graduate, worked in government, and decided to become a first-time founder in building an AI startup. When she came to me, she was bootstrapping her startup by also having a consulting practice on the side because her startup was not making money yet to pay her salary. Well, At the same time of running the startup and bootstrapping with a consulting, or she was also part of so many other founder programs to understand how to build and scale a business. And so Michelle was one of the business owners who was unfortunately impacted by COVID-19. She was feeling pretty overwhelmed and not feeling well and not sleeping well. She launched a product last year, January, and she had early adopters who were her customers, but she was getting ready to relaunch again in March when COVID hit. So unfortunately, she ended up losing a lot of her customers. She had to postpone the launch. As you can imagine, for Michelle, she was feeling so disheartened and unmotivated and unproductive. And she decided, I need to do something different. I need to get myself out of this state. So let's look at a solution. One of the solutions, and Michelle went through, was about hacking the physiology to enhance your creative output. And what I mean by physiology is really everything about the body, looking about how we can optimize the body that in turn also optimizes the brain. So I'm going to share with you something very simple that increases your recovery time. 20-minute power nap. A 20-minute power nap. Your body tells you during the day when you start feeling lethargic, a bit fatigued. And it's important to listen to that time. And I encourage you to consider taking a 20-minute power nap. Let me share with you what are some of the benefits that science and research has shown. Taking a nap improves reaction time and logical reasoning. This is excellent when you're doing all of those sales meetings and investor meetings and you're negotiating because you need to think on your feet. Napping helps you to be less impulsive and greater tolerance for frustration. So that means managing those situations that are very difficult and managing people that are difficult. Of course, and napping helps you have better memory recall. So that helps you tap into your hidden knowledge. So just a few examples of what research has shown of the benefits of napping. Word of caution here, sleeping too much during the day though can interfere with your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep at night. So there's a word of caution here, and that's why I want to show you how to properly power nap. So one, choose a time between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. This is time period is very highly recommended through research, so you can avoid the interference with your sleep at night. Highly recommend to set an alarm for less than 30 minutes. So, but research is showing that when you wake up after 30 minutes, and not just research, but you can actually feel it too, is that you kind of feel groggy. So there's a certain time frames, but after 30 minutes or so, you can feel groggy. So you can avoid that. Highly recommended to be in a dark room, or if you're not, then use blackout eye mask so you can sleep faster. And of course, having a blanket so that you can keep warm while the body temperature drops. So just these these 4 things you can keep in mind for doing a 20-minute power nap. Because when you come out of it, then you're able to have clarity on your ideas and be able to connect these ideas together and to be able to solve that. And that's exactly what happened with Michelle, is giving herself permission to actually take a nap, from working too much to actually stop and take a nap and be able to refocus and recharge and have one clear idea to put forward for moving forward. So what happened with that is that Michelle went from feeling disheartened, unmotivated, and unproductive to becoming more focused, rejuvenated, and supercharged in just 4 weeks to relaunch a new transformative AI product. And what's really interesting, I'm going to share momentarily, is that the change in Michelle brought out a product that actually empowered her customers. So Michelle said that she was able to focus more and feel rejuvenated because she was wasting less time and really honing on those things that were important. And in turn, her product, which is called Sparkle Assistant, that's been able to handle over 500 conversations. This happened within the last 3 months. And that allowed to automate things for her customers that they were able to save 1 to 5 hours per week. And it also allowed them to get new customers. So what's really amazing is that a change in your physiology, and that allowed you to work better and producing a product that can actually help other people. So I'm going to go into the benefit number 3, which is about increasing your concentration. So the first step, what we did was we defined the right target. We can really focus on the one thing you can do. And then we looked into how you can bring different ideas together, increase your creativity to solve that challenge. And now that you have those ideas, we want you to focus and concentrate on those so you can actually solve those challenges faster so you can achieve those targets. That's the benefit of powering your brain at the neural level. So I'm going to share with you something. One thing I'm noticing with a lot of entrepreneurs come to us is that the brain performance declines because of lack of optimized daily work and life habits. The lack of having that optimized system that supports them in their work and life. I'm going to share with you a case. This is Akil, and he's passed out a lap of one of his twin girls. And Akil went from being a financial advisor at Sun Life into the startup world, and he decided to build Blue Mind, which is actually his second venture. The idea came from his first venture, so now he's working on a second venture. And when we met Akil, he realized that he didn't have the time or energy, or even a single thought of relaxation. He didn't realize that his current habits weren't actually supporting him in his ambitious endeavors, and his current habits were the cause of unnecessary stress and lack of quality sleep, and affecting just overall his personal life negatively, not having enough time with the two people that really matter, with his twin girls and of course his wife. So, solution: hacking your environment and lifestyle to increase your concentration. And I'm going to give you a very simple hack here, and then that you can benefit. But I'm also going to be, again, engage with you here in this process. We're going to do a quick assessment. So I'm going to do a quick room assessment because I'm pretty sure everyone's connecting likely from your home today. Maybe if you're still in the lockdown. So I'm going to ask you these questions, and I want you to take note your response of these questions. And so first question is, which room do you mostly work in? Okay, just take a note. Which room do you mostly work in? How many hours do you spend in this room working? Just write down the total hours you typically spend in this room working. And then how long does it typically take until you hit fatigue or even distraction? Take a note of that. And take a look around in this room. Is there a window? Do you have a window? And if just putting a yes or no. And then is there sunlight that's coming in? Is there natural light that's coming in? Just take a note. Is there certain times during the day that you get more sunlight and less sunlight? Maybe note that as well. And also take a note of how your home desk is positioned relative to the window. Take a note of these things. You're doing a quick room assessment. I'm going to give you a few seconds here just to make sure you have answers to all these questions. Okay, I'm assuming that you have taken note on these things. I want to share with you an interesting study that Cornell University provided. They noticed that there's an 84% drop in issues such as headache, eye strain, blurred vision when exposed to natural light during the time that you're working. And that includes, yes, working at home. Really interesting. So let's begin. Hacking your environment. Natural light. I'm going to encourage you to just reevaluate your desk position at home. can this perhaps be put in near a window if it's not already? Just take a look and see where your desk position is. Can you optimize that in any way? Can you make it better? Look around and see if you have if you have a window, and hopefully you do, because you do need natural light, are there objects that are blocking the light to coming in? So if there are, can you perhaps reposition this to allow more light coming in? Just look around and see what are some of the small things you can do. It doesn't require too much work, just small things you can do to optimize that space. Also, just look at yourself at where you're working. Is that the only location you have? Do you have perhaps you can create a mobile work location where you can alternate between spaces? Just ask yourself those, if you can alternate between spaces, if there's a possibility. I'm gonna wait a few seconds here while you observe your room that you're in. You're observing the natural light you get, and you're looking at what are some ways you can optimize. Okay, I'm going to continue, and I'm going to share with you a place that I really love and it's dear to my heart. Not sure if anyone can recognize this, but this is my favorite place. This is WeWork, Toronto, heart of downtown. And when I walked into that WeWork One University location, I fell in love with WeWork right away. It was love at first sight. I knew this is a place that I wanted to call my home away from home. It had this amazing little nook here. We had lots of sunlight. I had this comfy chair, and I could come here, and I could just, take light work or read, and it was amazing. And I love that, and I just love this amount of light. And I noticed that different levels of our WeWork had lots of light penetrating. It was amazing, and I became super happy to be right away a member of this community. But of course, being locked down, we're not allowed to go in. And I thought, hey, I can certainly bring a WeWork to my home. And let me show you one hack. I'm going to show you, this is actually a bonus hack. I'm going to give you, I said 3, this is going to be your number 4 by lifestyle. This is my little home space. It's very compact. I live with my husband. It's 600 square feet. So it's not much space, you can see. And we decide to optimize it by adding plants. We don't get direct sunlight, so we make sure that we get the plants that we get is that can survive in low light conditions. And these didn't cost us that much. When we got those plants, they were just $5 or a few euros if you're in Europe. It wasn't that much, but over time, it flourished to this. It was just one time a week watering them, and yeah. And one thing I want to give as a rule of thumb is, if your plants are happy, then that means so are you. So one of the hacks, add plants to wherever you are that you're working. And then whether you're going to go back into your little office as well, bring some plants with you. And I'm going to share with you some data. Some studies have shown about the impact of plants on your brain health. First of all, one research showed that being surrounded by plants helps to improve your memory and attention span by 20%. Now, who doesn't want that, right? When you're surrounded by just a few plants, tension and anxiety can decrease by 37%. Fatigue can also decrease by 38%. Well, I definitely want to decrease my fatigue so I'm more energized. Oh, another study found that productivity increased by 15% when you were surrounded by just a handful of house plants. Just a few can increase your productivity. So I hope you're sold on this with just adding a few plants to optimize your work environment at home to make you happier, healthier, and power your brain at the newer level. So what happened to IQ? Um, so he went from having low energy and doing 17-hour workdays, 17-hour workdays, to becoming fully re-energized by hacking his lifestyle to allow him to spend some time, some more time with his 6-year-old twin girls. And what we noticed that when he hacked his lifestyle, it also changed his confidence, the belief he had in himself to power in his vision for Blue Mind, to be able to achieve those big targets. So by changing the way he operates, has allowed him to scale Blue Mind within just a few weeks, getting the confidence to get in front of those enterprise, global enterprise customers, and meanwhile having more time with his girls. So I'm going to bring this all together for you. I know I've given you just the things that were at the tip of the iceberg, just tiny things, the very basic things you can do. And really, you don't need a massive change if you're for powering your brain. Just these small hacks, giving your brain the right target. Getting those power naps when your body is telling you. Optimizing your work environment. Those are enough. Just do that for a few days. Do that for a week, and you will see the change in yourself. But I want to bring this in and tell you what else is there, what else is possible. Generally, we identified in brain optimizations, there's 3 main areas that you can hack, that you can power your brain at the neural level. Okay, and I'm going to go very quickly and very briefly go through this 3 different areas, and I'll also give you a case, and I'll walk you through a case as well, what happens. So the first area we talked about was hacking your psychology. A lot of research has shown that there's a mind-brain connection. So by learning to hack your psychology, by altering your perceptions, your attitudes, your feelings, awareness, all of that can really drastically improve your brain performance. So for a founder, for an entrepreneur, well, that means the way you experience this roller coaster life. That means the way you make meanings and about problems and challenges and how you sense those setbacks and roadblocks, which directly impacts how fast you achieve your business metrics and milestones. The second area we talked about, hacking your physiology, and that really means that there's a brain and body connection, like sleep, nutrition, circadian rhythm, diet, body composition, movement. So if you hack, those little tweaks, small changes here, then you will increase your brain performance, which means it's how you analyze data and how you solve problems, how you can innovate better, and how you interpret information, but again, dictates how fast you can accelerate the growth of your business venture. And the third area is about hacking your environment. There's a lifestyle brain connection. It's about the physical environments, the air you breathe, the everyday choices you make, the way you live and the way you work, and your light exposure. All of that impacts your brain performance, which means how long you can stay laser focused, how long you can sustain those concentration, the concentration, how quickly you can think on your feet, especially during those negotiations and deals, your energy level throughout the day, whether you have energy after your work to pursue things outside of your business, and how fast you make those decisions. So overall, hacking your lifestyle can directly impact the energy you have to resolve those challenges and keep winning in your business. Right, that's a lot. I know. I just covered with you a lot here, and I want to give you one final live case. Please meet Paul. He's the CEO co-founder of Telehealth Analytics. Paul is extremely happy and smiling here, and I want to show you how he came to here to being extremely happy and smiling. It wasn't like this 8 months ago when Paul and we got connected at the startup conference called Collision. And at that time, Paul, of course, was also impacted by COVID. He had to pivot his technology. He was a first-time founder. He went from being a physiotherapist to building and scaling an insurtech startup. Right, big jump, guys. So he was lacking clarity. He was lacking direction. He needed a blueprint. but the blueprint was him. He had to have that. It was him. He had a team of 7. He had about 200K angel funding. So people were looking up to him for directions, and he wasn't sure. There was a lot of self-doubt. And on top of that, Paul became a first-time father. So he had a newborn at home. And he came and he wanted to optimize his brain so that he can lead telehealth in his best of his ability. He can build it and scale it, and he can at the same time be the father and a husband that, he's the father for his newborn and being with his wife during this time. And let me show you what happened to Paul. Within the first week, we really focus about increasing his focus on concentration by hacking his physiology and lifestyle to reduce distractions at new level. In the second week, we looked at accelerating his performance and upgrading his productivity by hacking his psychology and lifestyle to save wasted time and him becoming laser focused on high ROI tasks that drive the biggest growth. And that meant that he had more time to do what important things outside of his business. And the third week, we focus on getting him to become more relaxed and calm, especially during those turbulent, unforeseen times of crazy market we have. And by hacking his psychology and lifestyle to reduce those cortisol levels and feelings of overwhelm and anxiety. And in the fourth week, we looked at training him and giving the tools and techniques so he can access his genius level of creativity by hacking his psychology of and for superior problem solving and being able to scale his business, being able to have more aha moments in various different functional areas of his business and to be able to build a successful business that actually delivers value to his end customers. And in the final week, it was all about really supercharging him and re-energizing at a new level by hacking his physiology and lifestyle so he have a system for peak performance for a lifetime of dividends. And so what happened to Paul? He went from having those self-doubts, and those got replaced by becoming super confident and having the constant feeling of unstoppable. With a change in his psychology, then he started having that clarity on the direction and refined focused on the way he was communicating the messaging of his technology to his customers. So that means he started becoming way more than 6 months ahead in hitting those revenue targets. And instead of chasing investors, the investors took notice and they started pursuing him and his business. So a few months after, Health raised $2.3 million. This is a seed round, 2.3 million seed round. 2.3 million seed round in just 3 months. When the average for a first-time founder can take between 12 to 24 months for such a big round. While being fully present at home with his newborn daughter and wife every evening. So that's the power of optimizing your brain at the neural level. So as we conclude this, I'm deeply passionate about helping you. And if I can help you to achieve great heights, please do reach out at optimizebrain.com. I offer free consultation, and I'm so excited to hear about your story and being a force in your journey. And as we conclude this, there were 3 main gains for you today. The first step, we looked at hacking your psychology by identifying a very clear target your brain can work on. You turn that mountainous problem into something manageable and addressable. You learn to hack your physiology by adding recovery period during the day through by power naps. So that increases your creativity, your energy, and your overall performance to really find a solution to achieve that target. And you learn a few easy ways to hack your lifestyle by exposing yourself to natural light and adding plants. That in turn helps you to focus better and increases your overall productivity to achieve great heights at a faster rate. Thank you. I thank you for Chandler and Stephanie for bringing me here today. You guys done a wonderful work. There was a lot of hard work behind this, bringing the whole community together. As a WeWork member, it is absolute honor to serve other WeWork members. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Portia. I'm going to hand it back over to Stephanie to help close us out.
Thank you also from my side for sharing these hacks with us. I'm super excited to try this out and also to learn more about this extremely exciting and extremely complex topic of neurohacking. So thank you for making it tangible for us today and breaking it down. We'll be meeting again on Tuesday at noon Eastern time for a very exciting session on how to surface and overcome limiting beliefs that we might face as achievers. So stay tuned for that. I just dropped the link to the session in the chat. For all WeWork Labs members, we're also launching a new format tomorrow, Fireside Fridays. You'll find out more about that in our upcoming newsletter on Sunday, but also as usual on the WeWork Labs member portal. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and see you on Tuesday. Bye.